In this video, we'll be finding out the best reasoning model. If you head over to my website, currently the best reasoning model according to me has been Grok 4. There have been many releases, but none of them were able to defeat Grok 4. Is today the day when it will be defeated? Let's find it out. And not only this, we'll be comparing image recognition capabilities of these models. The multimodality of these models. We'll be also doing video analysis. But before getting started, I have to make a correction. In my previous video where I compared Gemini 3 Pro and Claude 4.5 Sonnet, in particularly the bouncing balls question, you can find it out at the 27-minute and 40-second mark. I actually gave a win to Sonnet 4.5. The reason is that the number of balls were not increasing. But some of you correctly pointed out that actually it was a feature that Gemini 3 Pro implemented. It actually set the max balls to 100 to prevent CPU death if run too long. So to not have that issue, it was a safety feature that Gemini 3 Pro implemented and it was not an error. Even though I didn't ask for such thing, but it tried to implement it for safety. Yeah, but I should have noted it down. Having said that, without further ado, let's get started. So first is going to be reasoning. I haven't shown you scores for GPT 5.1 in the reasoning section and also the newly released Gemini 3 Pro preview. So let's get into it. GPT 5.1 according to many people has got a mixed review. It in benchmarks, it was better in some benchmarks and it was worse in some benchmarks. How does it perform in my reasoning test? If you don't know, I have 4 very hard reasoning questions, and the models that you see over here, all these models, any other model other than these is not able to score a very good score in these questions. So these are very, very hard questions cherry picked for state of the art reasoning models. I ask each question 10 times to each model and give a score. How many times out of 10 did it get it right? With that being said, let's get into it. So the first question is 64 tennis players question. You can head over to my website and you will be able to find out all these questions. Well, what about in this question? In this question, GPT-5 scores an 8 out of 10. What about GPT 5.1? Does it improve? Well, it scores a 10 on 10. Absolutely insane. Next, the seating arrangement question, one of the hardest questions that I have. GPT-5 was the highest to score in this. It scored a 9 out of 10. Does GPT 5.1 defeat it? Let's have a look. It scores a 6 out of 10. And this is a downgrade that I felt, further solidifying the belief that many people had. GPT 5.1 is not absolutely best. Let's move on to the jersey number question. This is the hardest question that I have. You can look at the score. GPT-5 scores a 0, Minmax M2 0, and Gemini 2.5 Pro 0. Grok 4 fast gets a 1, 0, 2, 2. You can see this, all models are just getting 0 or 2 out of 10. So just they are randomly guessing and trying to get the correct answer. So this is a very, very hard question. What about GPT-5? It scores a 0. And what about GPT 5.1 then? GPT 5.1 also scores a 0. Having said that, let's move on to the final question, that is Navy designation. It is comparatively an easy question, and as you can see, GPT-5 scores a 9 out of 10. What about GPT 5.1? GPT 5.1 scores a 9 out of 10 as well. With that, the total score now becomes 25 out of 40. You can see we see a 1 point decrement compared to GPT-5 when it comes to reasoning. But these two models are not the state of the art. The state of the art model is right over here. That is Grok 4 reasoning, scoring at 27. You can see GPT-5 was 26 and 1 point ahead. Grok 4 is at 27, and right against it we have kept the competitor, a worthy competitor actually, to Grok 4 reasoning, that is Gemini 3 Pro preview. So let's get into it. What do you think? Will Grok 4 be defeated? Let's find out. So first question is the 64 tennis players question. As you know, Grok 4 reasoning scores a 10 out of 10. Absolutely insane number. Well, how much does Gemini 3 Pro scores? It scores a 10 on 10 as well. An absolute banger start, giving a tough competition to Grok 4. Let's move on to one of the hardest questions that I have, that is seating arrangement. It is not the hardest. Jersey number is the hardest, but seating arrangement, I know in the beginning of the year, only Gemini 2.5 Pro was the model that was able to score just 1 out of 10. The final general availability version scores a 3 out of 10, but I do remember it was the time of January and I think February, and Gemini 2.5 Pro was the first model to even get 1 point. Every other model was getting a 0. But how things have changed. The previous best was GPT-5 scoring a 9 out of 10, the highest score yet. Is that broken? Let's see. Meanwhile, you can see Grok 4 scores a 7 out of 10. Do we have a new winner? We absolutely do. this question has been eliminated. Gemini 3 Pro has aced this question with 10 on 10. And actually, to verify this, I did 2-3 more runs, and every single time, no matter how many times I tested it, it gave the correct answer. And this is what we are seeing. You know what does 10 on 10 mean? It means that the question has become so easy for that model that it is getting it right every single time. A very good example is, if you ask a model what is 2 plus 2, every single time it will give you the response that the answer is 4, no matter what the hallucination or anything. Whereas when you ask an hard question, it can fumble and, just like humans, sometimes give wrong responses. But this question has been solved by Gemini 3 Pro, and currently it is leading. But to get the full picture, we have to look at jersey number and the last question as well. So, the hardest question, jersey number. Just have a look at the scores. As I've already told you, 0, 0, 0. Most of the models are in 0 or 1. Every variant of GPT-5 is in 0. Gemini 2.5 Pro is in a 0. Grok 4 Fast gets a 1. Even Grok 4 gets a 0. The highest that we have ever seen is from Kimi K2 scoring a 2. Claude Sonnet 4.5 scoring a 2. Claude Opus 4.1 scoring a 2. Quen 3 Max scoring a 2. And so on. So you can see 2 out of 10 is the highest score, which means that it is 20%, not even 50%, which means that it is at least confident more than half of the times. Well, guess how much will Gemini 3 Pro get? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let me show you. It gets a 6 out of 10, and that is what I'm talking about. Getting more than 50%. Gemini 3 Pro is confident with this answer. Many of you guys actually told that this question might be wrong because every model is getting 0. How could this be? There must be something wrong with this question. It has been undefeated for so long. Let me tell you, even I actually verified this question 2 times, 3 times, multiple times, and I saw that the question is actually right. And today it gets proven. Gemini 3 Pro shows that this question is right, and it is the first model to get 6 out of 10, an absolutely insane score. And this is the first time more than any model is more than 50% confident with the correct answer. Having said that, let's move on to the final question, that is Navy designation. You can see many models get a 9 or 10. Grok 4 gets a 10 on 10. What about Gemini 3 Pro? Gemini 3 Pro also gets a 10 on 10. And with that, the total score for Gemini 3 Pro becomes 36 out of 40. If I show you the leaderboard, you can see Grok 4 reasoning is at second position with 27 points, and a whopping 9 points higher, Gemini 3 Pro with 36 points. It has nearly solved my reasoning benchmark. I'll have to find new questions for the upcoming models, but Gemini 3 Pro has come up with the biggest lead, a 9-point difference. If you compare Gemini 2.5 Pro's score, it was 19, and from 19 we have went to 36, a 17 points improvement. Gemini 3 Pro is the best reasoning model by a very big margin. So on my website this is going to change, and I don't know when I will actually change it from Gemini 3 Pro to anything else, because this score is very hard to defeat. Will it happen this year? Do tell me down in the comment section. So this was all about reasoning. So now let's check the multimodality of these models. So all these 3 models support image recognition and understanding. So we'll be starting with that. As you can see, Grok 4 is towards my extreme left, GPT 5.1 is towards my middle, and Gemini 3 Pro is towards the extreme right. So we are starting off very simple. We are sending an image. Let me show you that. You can see this is the image. It is a screenshot from one of the coding runs that I did. You can have a look at the Super Mario down there, some bricks and these rectangles which represent cloud and stuff like that. And we are asking a very simple question. What do you see? Let's send this to all 3 models and let's see what they come up with. By the way, I have set all 3 models reasoning to high. So you can see GPT 5.1 is the first to come up with a response. It says, I see a retro side scrolling platform game scene, a blue sky, a red brick floor, a small pixelated character in red standing on the ground, and a row of floating bricks with 2 question mark blocks above him. It looks very similar to an early Super Mario Bros. Style level. So it identifies that it is Super Mario Bros. Like game. Now we have the responses from Gemini as well. Gemini gives us more detail. It says the image is a simplified 8-bit pixel art scene, which seems to be recreation of the classic Nintendo game Super Mario Bros. That detail is awesome. Below we see a small sprite Mario. He is wearing classic colors from the original game. Red overalls, as you can see, it has red overalls and brown shirt and hat, He's facing to the right. Nice. The bottom of the screen is lined with two rows of standard brown floor bricks. So it says two rows, but instead we have four rows. So that was kind of wrong. Suspended in the air above Mario is five blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. First one is a brown brick. Second one is a gold question mark block. Third is a brown brick. Fourth one is a gold question mark block. And fifth one is a brown brick. Sky is solid bright blue. There are two white rectangles near the top of the screen serving as stylized simplified clouds. So the detail is awesome with Gemini. I think even GPT 5.1 could have done it, but it kind of went for a small explanation. Let's look at Grok now. It says, I see a retro pixel art scene that looks like it is straight out of the classic 1985 Nintendo game Super Mario Bros. So even Grok identifies it. It says in the background there are solid blue sky with two small white rectangular clouds. We have Mario in his small non-super form wearing red overalls and a hat. So now you can see here Grok kind of falls apart. It says that in the mid ground, so Grok is talking about this thing. It says that it consists of three blocks. Instead we have five blocks. A brown brick, a yellow question mark block, and another brown brick. So that is wrong. We have five bricks and two question mark blocks. That is wrong. Let's ask GPT 5.1 to give us more details. Maybe in that way we'll be able to confirm if GPT 5.1 sees everything correctly or not. So it says retro 8-bit styled pixel art reminiscent of the early side-scrolling platform games. Two simple horizontal rectangles near the top. Let's look at the floating blocks. It says above the character slightly to the right, there is a short row of bricks suspended in the air. There are two question blocks with gold yellow border and an orange brown center. Okay, that detail was awesome. So it didn't tell the number of floating blocks. We'll ask it. Okay, now you can see GPT 5.1 is saying there are four floating blocks. I tried it once more and it says there are four floating blocks. Okay, this is interesting. So Grok is saying there are three floating blocks. So that is wrong, but it says that I have provided an ASCII art. That is not what I have provided. Anyways, you can clearly see the distinct performance of these models. I think Grok comes in the last place and GPT 5.1 comes in the second place, whereas Gemini gives very good detail and I think it takes the first place in this particular problem. Let's try something else. So now you can see we are providing a trading chart. Let me see if I am able to give you a better view. Okay, so you can see this is the chart. What they have to do is they have to tell what is the highest peak where the price has went and what is the lowest point where the price has went. So if you look closely, if you look at these numbers, the highest point is very close to 26,100. Maybe you can say 26,105 or 10. And if you look at the bottom, it is somewhere close to 25,725. Maybe a bit lower than that, maybe 720, I guess. So this is the kind of numbers that we are looking for. So I am simply asking what are the highest and the lowest prices the stock price has went in the chart. So let's see how they perform. Okay, we have got the responses. Let's start off with Grok. Let me pull up the image so that we are better able to understand. I hope it doesn't get hidden. Have a look at this. Grok is saying that the highest price is $29. So there is no mention of dollars, and also if you look at the numbers, it is 26,100, not just $29. So it is completely off, and it says the lowest is $22. If you just look at the first two numbers, even those are not same, because if you just look at the first two numbers, it should be 26 and 25, but here it says 22 and 29. Maybe I'll give it one more try, and meanwhile we'll move on to GPT-5 now. So let me keep it this side and make it a bit small. Okay. So you can see it is able to understand that this is the trading view interface. Okay, so it says that the price is just below 26,125, around 26,120 on the scale. So I think 125 on 100, we can say it is very close to 120 or 110. It is not completely off how it is with Grok. Let's look at the lowest price. So lowest price, it says that it is somewhere around 25,610. To 25,610 is going to come over here, so it is way off. I mean, it's better than Grok, but still I think the difference is kind of very high. Comparatively a better response than Grok, but now it's time for Gemini. So we'll keep it like this and have a look at Gemini. It clearly identifies this is the Nifty 50 index, the name of the stock. It says the highest price it reached this 26,125. So it is less accurate than what GPT 5.1 said. 26,125 is slightly higher. GPT said 26,120. So values are close, but GPT 5.1 was closer. Let's look at the lowest price. So it says the stock dropped to a low of roughly 25,715. So this is 725 and this is 700. So I think 715 is very close to what the actual price would have been. And it says this occurred towards the right side of the chart. Sharp decline before a slight recovery. So GPT 5.1 got the top correct. Gemini got both the top and the bottom very close. Grok is completely talking about something else. Here as well, I think Gemini takes the first place, GPT 5.1 the second place, and Grok for the third place. Let's try something else. So next is this test. This is a very hard test for these models, but it is very easy for us humans. Just you have to count the number of levels, and so how many levels is what you have to count. You can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 levels. So the solution is down here. If you do the total counting, you will find out that bottom has 1 2 3 5 8 13 and 21. So it follows the Fibonacci sequence, and it is very easy for us to count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21. Any human will be able to count it, but for some reasons these AI models are not able to. So what I'm doing is I'm sending this image, and what I'm saying is you are given a tree like structure. Count the number of levels and also the number of branches in each level. So let's send this to all three models and we'll see who gives us a better response. Okay, we have the response from Gemini. So I'll just pull up the image for your reference, and you can see it says that there are 6 levels. So that is wrong. We have 7 levels: 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. It says level 1 bottom has 1 branch, right? Second has 2 branch, right? And it says level 3 has 4 branches. That is wrong. We have 3, and then we have 5. That is wrong. So after that everything seems to be wrong. It is just doubling the numbers. It says the number of branches double at each level, following the sequence 1 2 4 8 16 32. So that is wrong. The number of levels was also wrong, and also the number of branches was right up to level 1 and level 2. So you can see this is something that I have been seeing a lot with AI models. They are not very good with image recognition. In text, they have reached PhD levels, but in image recognition, they still lag behind. Maybe the reason is lack of diverse data. If you send them any text or OCR based images, if you tell them to understand the handwriting, they will be very good at it because the data is very large for it. But for fringe cases like this, difficult for them. So enough of that talk. Let's look at GPT 5.1. It says there are 5 levels. So again, wrong. Level 1 has 1 branch, nice. Level 2 has 2 branches. Then after that, again, it gets into the wrong judgment of 4, 8 and 16. Even more further than what Gemini gave. Let's look at Grok. So Grok is processing. Okay, Grok is even more farther than the real answer. It says there are 4 levels: 1 2 4 and 8. So again we see the same hierarchy, Grok 4 being the worst, GPT 5.1 being in the middle, and Gemini being the best. I mean, in the last test, it was not correct, but it was closer to the correct answer. So I think this gives you an idea of what you can expect from these models when you talk to them. What is the image recognition capability of these models? Now let's move on to video analysis. So I did this long back, and now again I'm going to do it. I think I'll get rid of Grok 4 now because it is not multimodal, and ChatGPT, I'll show you on the ChatGPT website, it doesn't analyze the video. People say that in the mobile version people have access to it, but in the desktop version I don't see it. So now you can see I've shared a video. I am shuffling 3 cups, and in one of the cups there is a lemon. So they have to tell in which cup is the lemon in the end of the video. I'll show you the video, but what I want to prove is if I send this video and this text, you can see ChatGPT is starting to analyze it. Most probably it will pick the last frame or something like that, and you can see it has actually picked the last frame. It says it looks like the frame I displayed didn't actually show the lemon before it was covered. The video begins with the cups already placed upside down. Is that true? Well, that is not the case because I show the lemon in the video, as you can see. Just using code interpreter and just finding out few frames, you will not be able to ace this video problem that I have generated, because many models actually just look at each frame of the image and respond to you. So it gives you a illusion that it understands the video, but in reality it is just analyzing images. So even GPT 5.1 will not be able to do it. The only competitor then remains is Gemini 3 Pro Preview. So how does it perform? Let's actually have a look. So we'll share the video. Okay, it says the current model doesn't support files of this type. So it seems that it is able to take MP4 files, but my videos are in MOV files. So we'll do an interesting thing. We'll ask Gemini 3 Pro to actually write a code which converts MOV file to MP4. We can use Cloud Convert and do it. But come on guys, we have Gemini 3 Pro over here. So you can have a look at the prompt that I have sent. Okay, we have got the code. Okay, we'll run the code and we'll find the video and we'll hit choose. I think the conversion is happening in the terminal and it says done. Let's try the video, and the video is working guys. Now let's test it with Gemini. We'll share the video and this time it should be loaded. That is nice. So let's send this to Gemini, and meanwhile I'll play the video so that you are able to follow through. So as you can see, the cup is towards the left side. Let's see what Gemini does. So it says, therefore at the end of the video, the lemon is in the left cup. Let me actually try it once again, just to be sure. We'll do 2-3 iterations to see if it's consistent with its response or it's just hallucinating, because there are just 3 options, right? It could even randomly pick one and could get right. There is a probability of that happening. Now you can see it says at the end of the video, the lemon is in the middle cup. So that is wrong. We'll give it one more try. So again, it says the lemon is in the middle cup at the end of the video. So you can see it doesn't get it right. Now let's use the converter and let's try the second test that I have. So it is doing the converting now. So now look at this video and count how many stones were dropped. As you can see, 9 stones were dropped. Let's see if Gemini 3 Pro is actually able to find it out. And meanwhile it is generating, let me tell you one thing. Previously actually the video had audio, so it was able to count, the peaks that were getting generated in the waveform, and through that it was able to count. But after that I realized it and then I removed the audio so that it is a pure video test. Okay, it does say that 9 stones were dropped. Let's try it once again. And now it says 5 stones were dropped. And now it says 6 stones were dropped. So you can see the consistency is not there. I will say that it feels like it is slightly better than the previous models, but we have a long way to go. So this was all the testing that we did today. Gemini 3 Pro is an awesome model, and you saw the reasoning capability of this model, the image recognition capability of this model, and other modalities as well. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button and make sure you hype this video so that more and more people are able to watch this, and make sure you subscribe to my channel to see more such content. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.